with your knee too. Like, let's just be chill at Old Key West, man.
I'm with you. And I was doing like my knee wasn't bothering me. And then yesterday I ran, almost 12 miles. I was fine. And then I go down the stairs. Like I go upstairs, take a shower, grab, some crackers and stuff for breakfast, soda, walk down the steps, come in, start working. Dude, I go down the steps, almost fall down the steps because my knee is like it throb. And that's what it's always hurt. I was telling the doctor, like when I went to the doctor back in September, is that going downstairs is so painful. Like it was like that in September. Going upstairs, no problem. Level ground, no problem. Any kind of down incline, it feels like my leg's gonna fall off.
Oof.
So I don't know what's going on. Well, I mean,
Not good.
it'll be fine.
Not good.
Ibuprofen. It'll be what it is. We'll be suffering. I think there's gonna be a lot of suffering people this year.
I know I am. But
I know I can make the first three, but Sunday.
No, that's the thing. Like, I know I can do the first three without even training. Like, that's the thing. You do it still every day. Like, that's what I was saying. I think on a live show, I got to get like a 13 or a 15 in, and then that'll give me some confidence.
If it was reversed, like if it could only be like 26 on the front end, and then because then you're just like, I can just,
Yeah, I think most people though like would hate that, like because you're like a machine. You're different than most people because like you even run the next day after the marathon. A lot of people like are just whooped after a marathon.
Nope. I've told myself I'm not doing that this year. Like, no, I'm not even.
I'll never forget that 1 year, like where we stayed at the boardwalk.
Yeah, I did. I ran 10K the next morning.
I know, well, like because like we had an early flight out, and like I gave you like a hug like on your run. Like I came out to the boardwalk because I knew your crazy butt would be out there.
Because I had to keep my streak going on my Apple Watch, and so here's the deal. Like I know on Christmas Day my streak breaks because I don't run on Christmas morning, and we go like to the in-laws. There's no time to run on Christmas, and so I don't get the thing on for December because of that, the monthly thing or whatever. And then in January, I've just told myself like, just dude, don't do it. Because like for one thing, my flight out on that Wednesday is at like 6 a.m.
Yeah.
So I'm not gonna run once I get there. And like, I'm not going to run at midnight, like, because I got to
let me know what time you land because like, so we're going into Tampa this time because like, that's just how it worked. But depending on when we're coming by, like we might be coming by MCO by the time you land. Who knows?
Let me see what time my flight is. Yeah, Mizzou.
I mean, but you could always do like whatever too to get there. But
Mizzou plays in Tampa on the 23rd. Man, I'm tempted to go down just for the game and come back that same night. If the flights weren't crazy, but they probably are.
Yeah, my team doesn't play.
I know you got to go. Dude, my flight takes off at 6 a.m. I did book an early flight. I was thinking it was like 6. I was thinking it'd be like 6:45.
Mine takes off at 6 a.m. too, but mine's Eastern time.
Oh, man. Oh, mercy.
So I land at 8:58.
Yeah, mine lands at 9:30.
See, I land 30 minutes before you, but I'm in Tampa though. Yeah, so like
the same difference though.
I know I'll come wherever, like, and then I'll be going by MCO. Actually,
you go actually past the airport?
I don't know. I'd have to look at a map. I don't think I do.
If you don't, I'll take an Uber.
Yeah. But that's funny. I know you don't care for that. I love those early flights, but
I do too. I like once you get in there, dude, they just turn out the lights like especially when you're by yourself, it's the bomb because like I'm about to talk to you. So I'm just like, dude, good night.
So good. And then for me though, I think I talked about this a lot. It's like that this time of year, like I worry about like weather delays and things like that. And I feel like I just have this theory, like
think about that.
I just have this theory the first flight out is usually going to go. And then it's like a chain reaction.
That is true. You know what? I listened to a podcast, this travel guy on this podcast, and he swears by that. He's like, the first flight, the plane's usually there from the night before. He's like, after that, all bets are off because they're coming.
Exactly. I agree. Because then like things just happen throughout the day because planes are coming from all over
he's
the
like,
country.
Even if you're in Florida, he's like, you could be in trouble because your plane could be coming from Canada, like
exactly.
He's like, so.
But that first flight is usually there the night before. And like, I know Delta's flight schedule pretty well. It's usually like a flight from Utah of all like Salt Lake City is usually like the flight that is last before mine. It's so weird, but
so when's your flight going home? You going home on Monday?
Yeah, I'm going home on Monday.
How early you guys flying out on that day?
I might be later-ish.
6:25 that night. Dude,
6:25. You're like the Scotty G schedule. That's what I normally do.
Switch it up because I'm just like whatever this time.
Oof. 7:42, and I land at 10:20.
Oh, dude, I landed 8 o'clock.
I land at 10:20. Ohio State and Michigan will be playing each other.
Georgia will be playing Michigan. I think.
So you're gonna admit TCU is not gonna be Michigan then? Huh?
I don't think TCU is going to be Michigan.
I don't think so.
Michigan's pretty good.
Unfortunately,
that game starts pretty late though, doesn't it? Usually like 7.
It does, but like, I mean, I'm not gonna get home till like midnight. So
you have something to listen to in the car though.
Yeah, I've done that before with like.
I've watched
a lot actually because I normally come home. I normally come home that night.
Yeah, we're always flying home that night of the national championship.
Yeah, I'll be watching some of it. I'll probably watch like the first half and then listen to the second half on the way home.
You flying out of Tampa too?
Yeah.
Dang, that'll be a long drive back.
But it's like a $500 savings, man. It's crazy.
It's totally worth it. Worth it. All right, let's record this thing.
I gotta book my Princess Fare.
I know I do, but I think I saw that earlier today. I think Southwest put a push notification out. They're having a sale. Hang on. Let me see if I find it. I saw something from Southwest, and then I was like, "I'll look at that later."
Man, I smell like a bonfire. Like it smells like I just like smoked a whole bunch of stuff.
Yeah, yeah. Marijuana became recreationally legal in Missouri today. So
okay,
there you go. You're celebrating. But there's like it's all over the news because it's not legal at the like the University of Missouri system campuses, and like all the students are going crazy.
Oh,
interesting. It's a rule. Okay, no, I saw something from Southwest, but now I don't see it.
I saw something about winter fair sales or something.
Yeah, I thought they're having a sale or something. I saw the logo and I got excited, and then I'm like, I was doing something. And
ends today, 25% off Christmas and New Year's travel.
Oh man, for the bowl game though. See,
there
the bowl
you go.
Yeah. Terrible. Because like
it's travel December 24th through 25th. That wouldn't help your bowl game.
No.
Maybe on the way home.
And the bowl game's on the 23rd, and it's at 6:30. So that and we do big Christmas Eve at my in-laws. So then we'd be traveling. Yeah, that'd be. God, man, I wish the game was like one day earlier. It was on the 22nd. We for sure go. Anyway, all right, let's do this, and then we will. Don't let me forget that I got to do this trip passes theme park reservations. I totally remembered that this morning on the treadmill. So this is episode 2200.
When is this one, Aaron? Is this over marathon or
no? This so I'm just going to put it as sequence. So I already have next Monday's done. I did that last night, so this will be a week from Monday, and that way I'll just keep staggering them. I'm pushing them.
Okay,
I want to get this one out. Yeah, so it'll be.
So we're gonna just talk about. I'm sure you got some questions. We'll just kind of talk about the trip, right?
This will be informal. Let me get this.
Photos over the years and like pops up you and me like on a carousel.
Is that Disneyland?
Yeah,
white sweatshirts. Yeah.
Yep, white sweatshirts.
Yeah, I love that picture. Yeah, Paige comes home in the morning because she's at my nephew's wedding on Saturday. And then she goes,
I forgot about that wedding. Yeah, you were talking about that.
Yep.
You find your cowboy boots?
I have Ugg boots, but I have a cowboy hat. So I'm set. But Mizzou plays Kansas on Saturday in basketball, like the rivalry. So no, we'll see. All right, here we go.
In my photos. Man, I wish I was back.
Yeah. So we got less than 30 days. We'll be there.
I know. We'll be right back.
I'm there, man. I know since May.
I'm complaining about 30-degree weather.
I'm so wanting one of those buffalo chicken grilled cheese sandwiches so hard. I cannot wait. Like I guarantee you, when I get there, I might go up. I need a theme park reservation to do that. Damn. That's why they stink, right? I just want to get a sandwich. I don't want to have to.
I know we're gonna go. So we're going to Minnie's or Hollywood and Vine one day for lunch. I don't know if you want to do that because you might just rather have the chicken, the buffalo thing, you know.
I could go to that though. I haven't been to that in ages. Okay, yeah.
And then we can go share one afterwards.
Yeah, yeah. We'll at least get 17 steak fries and half a sandwich. That'd be too funny.
and take one to go.
That's it. Well, can we get a doggy bag?
That's what I'm gonna do. That's what I should have for the 5K. Like I should order one to go, and then like that'll be my costume. I'll be like eating one of those.
Yes. I am bringing for marathon. I'm bringing the banana and I'm bringing the hot dog bag.
Okay.
I wanted to talk to Riley and get him on the show before marathon weekend. I might have to send him a message tonight.
Oh, that'd be sweet, man.
Just to talk to him about how he got involved with all this. But I had no idea that did you see that? He is actually the voice of the guy. He's the guy that says runners.
Oh yeah.
Caution, speed bumps ahead.
You didn't know that?
Yeah.
Oh. No, that's him, man.
Awesome. I had no idea that was it. That blew my mind.
That's funny.
It doesn't sound like him, does it?
I think it does sound like him. Because he's just doing like his like serious like radio voice, you know.
That's what it is. I know. Caution runner. That is so funny because I want to get
caution runners, speed bumps ahead.
See, I just want to get him on the show, make him say it.
Yeah. Remember when we met the monorail voice on that cruise?
Yes, we got a picture of him too. We met.
That guy was a riot, man. Like he wouldn't let us record, but it was awesome.
Yeah, that was awesome. We got to do some cool stuff. Pam's hanging out in Walt's apartment today.
I know.
Hey, even my wife was like, "Did you see Pam? She was in Walt's apartment." I'm like, "Yeah, she gets all the cool stuff."
Yeah.
Okay.
Cool.
I know. All right, here we go. This will be fun. 2209. Welcome to episode 2209 of the Be Our Guest Walt Disney World Trip Planning Podcast. I'm your host, Mike Rallman from BeOurGuestPodcast.com and one of the senior agents over at the Magic for Less Travel. Happy Monday to you. Hope you had another great weekend here in December. And time is ticking down towards Christmas. If you haven't gotten those gifts, you still got time. No worries. You can still even go to Amazon. You can go anywhere, but I'm telling you what, you better start getting that list and checking it twice. Got to find out who's naughty and nice and get all that good stuff done because Christmas is trucking up to us. And that always means marathon weekend right around the corner. And today we're going to give you a trip report to take on your training runs as you're wrapping up this training cycle for all those miles we'll be running here with the Be Our Guest podcast listeners very soon. And today we have a very special show because we're going to be talking with my good buddy, Scotty G up in the mitten. Scott, what's going on? Happy Monday.
Happy Monday. And man, you nailed it. Time is ticking. I'm starting to freak out about Christmas shopping, starting to freak out about marathon training. But you know what? It's the most wonderful time of the year. Everyone just needs to be laid back, hang time with friends and family. That's what it's all about, So happy to be here, though, to talk about an awesome trip that we took over Thanksgiving.
So we are about, before we hop into your trip, because we got to talk about this. I want to give this a whole show because you stayed at the Contemporary Theme Park View Room and did a lot of cool stuff here last month, which I want to get out there and really have an in-depth discussion over. But, we've done Dopey challenges together. We've been down for tons of race weekends together, but also Christmas is coming up. So what is more stressful? Because I always wonder about this, right? It's an exciting time of the year once you hit, mid-December where we are right now, because we know in the next 10 days, we'll be, opening gifts, giving gifts, going around to see holiday lights, seeing family members. And then it's just, as soon as Christmas hits for the runners, it's truly a whirlwind, especially if you have kids that are out of school and then you're doing stuff with them. And then all of a sudden you're getting on a plane or getting in your car, you're heading to Florida, you're getting up 4 nights in a row at 2:30 in the morning, standing out in parking lots, running races. So what are you feeling right now? Besides anxiety, because it is exciting, right?
I was gonna say, there's so much excitement. There's a lot of excitement. And then for my line of business and work, it's so crazy too, because we have year-end deadlines we try to make, right? So then your anxiety levels build there. So you're worried about the deadlines at work. You're worried about, did I get the right Christmas presents? Did I invite the right people over? Which holidays am I going to? Because there's so many Christmas parties you got to go to. And then in the back of your mind, you're thinking, well, shoot, New Year's is coming up, and then boom, I'm down there for 5 nights running Dopey. It's just so much excitement. I love this time of year, though. And it's funny with the work stuff too, because so many people take a lot of time off. I know you kind of work from home, you kind of make your own schedule. But for me, with my time off, I never take time around Christmas because boom, I'm taking a week off right afterward. So it's funny, everyone asks, Scott, why don't you take the time off around Christmas? I noticed you never do that. Well, there's this little thing I go to right after New Year's called the Dopey Challenge, and that's why I save my time off for. But crazy time of year.
I was gonna say
But
you're gone a lot, so
let's be real. I'm just out of time off at the end of the year is the problem. But I'll tell you, the most anxiety I ever had was before my first marathon, which was 2016. That was your first dopey. In 2015, my Michigan State Spartans were in the college football playoff, and so like, like I had like all this adrenaline build. Like I'm about to run my first marathon. My team's playing, for the college, the national championship in football, and that was on New Year's Eve that year. And I tell you, like when your team plays on New Year's Eve in the college football playoff, like it doesn't even feel like New Year's Eve. It's just like another like intense like Saturday night, feeling. And then when your team loses, like you have all the energy has like exited you. You have no excitement for the ball and all that. I kind of wish they would move those games to like the day before or something, because like if your team loses, you're done with New Year's Eve. And then that was weird because then I had to transition back to like getting ready for the marathon. It was just a crazy year for me.
Well, plus, this year we're kind of fortunate in that, it just depends how the calendar falls, right? And we've had those years a few years ago, that situation you're speaking of, where we were down there because marathon weekend lined up where you could go down. I believe next year falls like this.
Next year's going to fall like that. Yep.
Yeah. Where you could go down for New Year's and realistically stick around where kids would be off school through marathon weekend. And, that was an epic. I mean, that was really an epic trip because all the runners were there. Everybody got to hang out, have meals, do New Year's Eve at Epcot. And I mean, it was like a party for a week. We should
do that for New Year's 2023, like based on how Mallory and Pam's schedule comes, because that'd be awesome if we all come down there again for like New Year's Eve. Like it's been several years since we've done that, and like if the calendar works out, that'd be awesome.
Sounds good. Yeah, let's make it a party. Okay, so let's hop into your trip. You were down for Thanksgiving, and you stayed at the Contemporary. We've kind of talked about that, but tell us about how this trip came together, because one of the things people ask me a lot of times is, should I go to Walt Disney World on an actual holiday, Christmas, Christmas Day, New Year's Eve, New Year's Day, Thanksgiving, what have you. So you guys were down there for Thanksgiving, but what I like about you, which we're going to talk about, and you kind of mentioned briefly during one of our live call-in shows a couple weeks back, is that you still kind of hung on to some of your traditions that you do at home, especially with Emily, while you were at Walt Disney World. But kind of tell us how this trip came together to happen on Thanksgiving.
Yeah, for sure. So we were just talking about like personal time off, PTO. Like I like to use it. I like to take advantage of it. And one thing I take advantage of are the holidays. So, most of us here in the United States get Thanksgiving off for work, depending on your line of work, but most of us do. And then with my work, I get like the Friday after off. I get a half day on that Wednesday. So I'm like, man, I could really take advantage of this and go down to Walt Disney World for several days and only use a couple of days of time off. So Emily, with school, like the school schedule just worked out perfectly that she was like on a little Thanksgiving break, right? So that's kind of like how we aligned this trip. Like, hey, let's just go down there for a few nights. We don't have to miss much school at all. Like we can spend the holiday together. Elizabeth's birthday's right around that time. So, and you'll see like back in my old history, we've done this quite a bit. Like we've gone to Disneyland this week. We've been to Walt Disney World like 3 or 4 times during Thanksgiving. It's kind of like almost like a tradition that we try to do it every couple of years because it just really works out with the calendar with work and school.
Makes sense. So let me ask you this kind of overall, because you're kind of an expert of Thanksgiving at Walt Disney World, even Disneyland. What's the vibe, and is it typically super crowded? Is it like akin to summer crowds? What for folks that might be considering going down maybe next Thanksgiving? Maybe they just like, family's going to be scattered to the wind. We're looking for something to do. It's a little bit different. What is the vibe like when you're there for the actual weekend?
It's crowded. There's no doubt about it. Like now, I don't think it's like Christmas week, New Year's Eve kind of crowded, but take this for example. So, like the Genie Plus has kind of had like the cheated pricing and whatnot. That week, it was $30 per person for Genie Plus. So that tells you like how crowded it is, because they're only going to do that if they know they're going to get a lot of interest in it, right? So, and I will say we did not purchase any Genie Plus. I mean, I'm just a small family of 3, and that's $90 a day. Like that's so crazy to me,
right.
But it is crowded, but it's manageable, right? Like you kind of have to stick to the same strategy we talk about all the time on the podcast, right? Like wake up early, try to rope drop, which we did one morning, and I can talk about that. And then like try to exit for that midday break, come back at night, just kind of set your expectations, knowing that it's a busy holiday week. You might have to wait a while for some lines, but for some rides, but that's okay, right? You're there with your family, you're celebrating the holiday. And for us, it's like, this is what really kicks off Christmas. That's why I like coming down here too. Like, I get in such the Christmas spirit, like the trees, the resorts are decorated everywhere. Like, you hear the background loops. I come back from this trip when we do it, Mike, and I'm just holly jolly, like for the rest of the year. Like, I'm totally in the Christmas mood.
Yeah, I've been there too a couple times around this time, and I love seeing the Christmas trees go up, and because Disney does it a little bit bigger and a little bit sooner, and always a lot better than most hometowns, or shopping centers or whatever you have to kind of mark the time at back home. It does. I mean, because you don't usually walk around and have background loops of Christmas music playing, wherever you go. And it's for somebody. I know you're a big Christmas fan. I am too, and it's like it gets you in the spirit.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, and we know it starts early. I mean, it starts even earlier than this at Walt Disney World. Right? It starts like right after Halloween, like first week of November, which is fine. Like, that gets you in the spirit too. But there's something about that transition from Thanksgiving, like just that whole weekend. Everyone. That's when you really move to that, that Christmas phase, and just being down there with all those people, all those decorations. Like, I don't know. I think you hear it in my voice, man. I'm still like, it just gets me so eager for Christmas, and I just love it.
Okay, so you're obviously, everybody knows you're DVC, so you typically, use your points a lot of times to stay at places like Old Key West, and you'll stay at other Disney, DVC resorts depending on availability. This time you picked the Contemporary. So talk to us about how this trip came about and you ended up at the Contemporary, because you weren't at Bay Lake Towers, you were in the main tower over at the Contemporary.
We're in the main tower, and Mike, this is a bucket list item, like. And I don't know about you, like, we kind of have checklists. Like, I still have checklists I want to do at Cruise Line. I'm very jealous of you that you've done outside of the Wish, which you'll take care of next summer. You've done all the ships. I've only done the Dream and the Fantasy, so I still have like the Wonder and Magic I want to do. Like, when they come, I feel the same way with Disney resorts. Like, I want to mark them all off, right? Like, and I've done the Polynesian DVC, I've done the Polynesian non-DVC, things like that. I mean, they're not trips that you're going to do very often because they're, these resorts are more expensive, but you splurge every now and then. And we talked about it. We're like, you know what? We're going to do it. We're going to do the main tower. And if we're going to do the main tower, we're going to hit the home run, Mike. We're going to go for the theme park view room. And I think I've mentioned this even on the podcast before. Like, I've always been nervous about the theme park view room because, for one, I think Bay Lake is beautiful, right? Like, and that's that's the side where the sun rises. So if you're in the main tower on Bay Lake, because I've done this on Bay Lake Tower, you wake up and then you see a gorgeous sunrise over the lake. There's something like calm and relaxing about that, where I just thought, well, if you're on the other side, you're just going to see a parking lot.
Yeah, that's why I thought about that too, because there is a huge parking lot there that you see from the balconies at the tower, at the Contemporary. But
yeah, I've always joked like that's a parking lot view. That's your standard parking lot view, not a theme park view room. But boy, did I prove myself wrong on that one, Mike. Like, we get in the room, like, that's where I went straight to. Like, we our luggage was with Bell Services, so we went up there without our bags. Like, so us, like, we gotta get photos of all the things. But I went straight to that balcony first to snap a photo of the castle, just looking down on Magic Kingdom. You see Space Mountain, you see Tron, Astro Orbiter. Like, it's actually amazing all the stuff you can see. Like, as the week went on, I was like, oh my God, that's the tip of Crystal Palace over there. That's the tiki room over there. Like, at one point I could see the star of the Christmas tree from our room. Like, it is just unbelievable. And I think it's just like the forced perspective. Like, when you're up there, like, honestly, I didn't even notice the parking lot because you're so high up, and like the Magic Kingdom just, I don't know, it just seems so big and like in your face. Like, I was able to look past the parking lot without any issue. And it was just a magnificent view. But there's something underrated about this view too that I wanted to tell you about. Based on how our room was laid out, like, because like, I remember you were at Yacht Club once, and like, you woke up and you could see like Stormalong Bay like from your bed. Remember, like, you didn't even have to like get up, and you're like, oh, there's Stormalong Bay. I don't even have to get up from my bed. So the way our bed was, it looked out over Seven Seas Lagoon. So when I woke up, Mike, I was looking at the Grand Floridian and Seven Seas and the Polynesian. And as a resort guy, as I am, that meant so much to me, as much as like seeing Magic Kingdom. Like, I'm seeing like the ferries going around, all the boat transportation, like all the logistics, like from my bed. It was so awesome.
So I have to tell our listeners, because I know we both do this when the other one is on vacation. If I'm down for like a media thing, or you're down for
Yeah.
vacation, I'm home. We follow each other on Find My Friends on our iPhones, because it helps us with podcasting. Like I got to know, like when you're home from work, I look for Ricky when she gets home. Like okay, she's been home for 5 minutes. Let's go. So we use that all the time. But when you're on vacation, I use this to virtually just go around like on vacation with you. Now, I was checking in with you constantly over this vacation, and time again, this is where Scotty G was. And this is a picture of Scotty G's little emoji. And it is constantly Scotty G apparently sitting on his balcony at the Contemporary. Like, it wasn't you at the pool. It wasn't you in the Magic Kingdom. It wasn't you at Epcot. It was you. I really was. I mean, I wasn't surprised, but you were really taking advantage, I think, of being able to just soak it in and be there. Which, I mean, I was excited because you kept telling me, you sent videos to myself and Wade, and we were talking about it over text that, oh man, I just heard the train whistle, and like, oh,
That blew my mind. Like I haven't heard that whistle or seen that train in how many years, Mike? Like, and I'm watching it from my balcony. Yeah, I mean, even outside of that, like, so the rooms are those incredible rooms, right? So the only time we've stayed at the Contemporary traditionally was for the 50th anniversary. I remember you came over because I remember you loved like the fake fireplace, right?
I love that 70s vibe in those garden view, garden wing rooms or whatever.
Those garden wing rooms were awesome. And those are now incredible too.
I know. They were way more incredible before they made them incredible.
And I'll say I like the room. And the good thing is, like, they're still the same size. I remember Pam Forster was telling me, like, these are like the largest, like, deluxe rooms at Walt Disney World, and you feel it. Like, it feels big. It's so nice and so comfortable. And I liked the incredible rooms. Like, you open up the closet, you see like their super suits. You open up a drawer and it has like a to-do list or whatever. Like the color scheme is cool. I like the theming. And I'm going to steal a line from you because I 100% agree with it. And I say it all the time. I like that. I just wish there was more options. Like maybe every other floor is Incredibles, and then you have like a different theme, because maybe not everyone wants to stay in an Incredible room when they go to the Contemporary. Maybe we want that classic Contemporary feel.
Maybe
right?
It's like a mid-century, futuristic kind of look.
But I get why they do it. My wife is so smart. She always has like a logical point to everything I say. And she's like, well, just think about the logistics behind that with like, if they have to like replace something, it's all like, they can just buy it in bulk, right? It'll be the same stuff, like, and like, and it makes sense, but like, I would love to just have like, even at like the Polynesian with the Moana rooms, I just want some variety. But I do love the rooms. I love the Incredibles theme, don't get me wrong, but I wish like that theme might not be for everyone, right?
I love those movies. Like, I'm not a big movie guy, but those are solid. I love the Incredibles because I think everybody can relate to like one of the people in the family. I call my wife Mrs. Incredible and all that. But tell me at least one time during the trip you didn't yell at Elizabeth and say, "Woman, give me my super suit."
Oh yeah, I did. I did.
You had to be a little Frozone for her. Yeah. Totally. That's my favorite character about.
But another underlooked thing about, and Mike, I am spoiled now. Like, other trips are going to be tough because there's something about like being in that room and just like walking out of your room and then boom, you're in the main tower of the Contemporary, like the classic Contemporary, like the Grand Canyon Concourse is like right below you. There's something about just, easy transportation. Like, all right, let's get out of our room and walk the Magic Kingdom. Like, you're there in like 5 to 10 minutes. Like it's just unbelievable.
Well, too, and I mean, we went out to Disneyland in July and we stayed at the Disneyland Hotel. So that was, again, super easy transportation, walking to Disneyland and DCA. I don't think could have been better as if we were Grand Californian. So you were doing it right over these, these last few resort stays. So I hear you on the, but I think, with the thinking with those incredible rooms, the Moana rooms, Caribbean Beach is now getting some new Little Mermaid rooms to replace Pirates. We're not the typical guests. So, I think they're looking at those guests that come like once every 5 years, once every 10 years.
And I do like them. You're right. It's going to hit those. And like the younger families, like, oh my gosh, we're going to stay in the same room as Frozone. This is awesome, which is cool. It's super cool. Like,
it's totally it. So,
but that staying in that main tower, like, it was just so cool. Like, I went to Contempo Cafe. Like, I couldn't even tell you how many times. Like, we're like we like to go out for table service breakfast a lot, but it was so easy to just do a mobile order straight from the room. And like, we can do this at any resort, right? But the problem is with most resorts, you have to leave and go to the outer buildings. It's like a little bit of a hike. Mike, I would just walk on my room. I was right next to an elevator. Boom, I'm in the elevator, hit 4. Boom, I'm there in like 2 minutes. And then I'm right back up to the room. Like, it was just amazing. You never had to leave the building. It was so cool.
And those are super fast elevators, by the way, at the Contemporary. Like the crazy, like pneumatic.
People look at you. It's interesting when you're like not picking like a common floor, like the Grand Concourse, like you're going to room 11. People look at you like, oh, like, is that guy staying here? That's where like I felt like that sometimes.
It's actually a hotel. I know, because really, I mean, I think Contemporary is one of like 2 hotels I've never stayed in still. And Mallory wants to, so we're gonna have to do it. And now after you've talking about it, totally am. But
even if you do, because I thought about this, so you could almost do it with like a split stay.
Yeah, so that's
like you talk about that beach club concierge room that you did that one trip,
night.
Right? Yep. Like, I would almost say like you could do this for 2 nights and kind of do what we did and just like enjoy the pool, just enjoy the atmosphere, walk to Magic Kingdom one night or something, watching the fireworks from your balcony. Like, holy cow, man, that is awesome.
Yeah, no kidding. Because I mean, think about it. Because the people that are like 500 yards away out in Seven Seas Lagoon on a boat, they're paying like $90 a person, to be on this fireworks cruise, to see those fireworks. I mean, you're paying a lot for your room, but you have a lot for your room, but you're having your, you could have a private dessert party on your balcony. That's what
we did, Mike. So let me talk about Thanksgiving Day a little bit. So
yeah, go ahead.
So we get down there we fly on a Wednesday. We go to Epcot, by the way. So we'll talk about this a little bit too. They changed the Guardians, song back soundtrack during this trip. So we wanted to do Guardians before it went to Christmas one last time. So I went to Epcot, went to Guardians, had Topolino's for dinner. We were tired. We were up at like 3 a.m. So it was kind of a chill day. The next day is Thanksgiving morning. You kind of hit about our traditions with Emily. Like, we love watching the Macy's Day Parade. So what did we do? I ordered Mickey waffles, a couple bounty platters, took them up to the room, and we just watched the parade in our pajamas. And every commercial break, Mike, I was going outside to look at the balcony, like, oh, what's happening down there?
That's so awesome.
It was so awesome. But that was a chill day. So we wanted to go to Magic Kingdom. I mean, it's Thanksgiving. We're at the Contemporary. Like, that's where you want to go, right? Like, Magic Kingdom is fun. So we went there and it was crowded. We did the People Mover, Dumbo, took some photos, and we're like, hey, let's go swimming. It was kind of warm. So then we went to the pool. But our Thanksgiving dinner, and I know this is funny, you're gonna laugh about it. I think you already remember where it was at Chef Mickey's at the Contemporary, waving your napkin around. Yep.
No, it says Thanksgiving like Chef Mickey's.
Yeah. But I'll tell you,
I'd be disappointed if you didn't go there for Thanksgiving when you're staying at the Contemporary.
Yeah, it almost felt like you had to. Like, it was going to be that or like Steakhouse 71, which would have been absolutely fine as well. Shout out to Tim, by the way. He's awesome. But Chef Mickey's was good. So I didn't realize, like, we researched it like a few days before, that there's still one that's not back to buffet. So it's still family style. So,
which is fine.
They brought out.
I have no problem with that, because
I was 100% fine with that. I didn't have to get up. And
fine, dude. You could never go back. Just keep bringing it over. Yeah, totally.
For sure. And that's what they did. So they had 2 platters. This is what was interesting. So they had like your good, like your carbs platter, basically. It was like turkey, sweet potatoes, mashed potatoes and stuffing and all that. Like, oh yeah, this is Thanksgiving right here, Then they brought another platter that was salmon and rice and like some like a prib sort. And we're like, well, that didn't feel like Thanksgiving, So like, I did eat at that one, but we like told our server right away, like, we're gonna need another one of these turkey ones,
It's Thanksgiving.
It was kind of weird. I know it's kind of weird. She's like, well, I'll give you one once that one's done. So we just like quick scooped it up and put it on our plates. Like, okay, it's done.
I'd be like, what is this, 50's Primetime Cafe? I have to clean
exactly. So we cleaned that one up. There was no mac and cheese in that, but I did ask for like a mac and cheese, so they brought us like a mac and cheese plate too. I mean, they were gonna hook us up with anything they had in that kitchen. They were gonna bring out if we wanted it, basically. And then she caught on. Like, we're like, we wouldn't mind another turkey one, but I can't remember if we asked for more turkey or if there was we specifically just called out the turkey. But anyway, the last batch of the last platter they brought out just had like so much turkey, man. It was just loaded. I think she was just over like getting us platters constantly. So that was really good.
So
but then
I haven't been there forever. So yeah,
It was fun.
hey, I mean, so you thought it was decent though, because a lot of people
Honestly, like the turkey was so good. Like we
really.
talked about it afterwards. Like we weren't sure what it was going to be like, like it's Chef Mickey's, but we actually had the turkey at Contempo Cafe for lunch, and I think they kind of share a kitchen, and we all commented like, man, that was really good. Like we almost thought about canceling Chef Mickey's and going back to Contempo. Good news for us, it was the same exact turkey, so it was really good. And talking about the dessert party, in your room, so there was a dessert that came with this, like, and it was kind of like your sampler, right? Like there's a small little like pumpkin pie and like a cookie and things like that. But the meal was running so long, like we thought we had enough time to time it to go back to the room with fireworks. So we were like in rush mode, like, hey, like we're staying here. We want to see the fireworks from our room. Can we get our bill? Can we get the desserts? Like, can you get the desserts to go? They're like, no, we can't do them to go. So we pay the desserts. We just kind of like all carry them up. Like we just put them in our hands and like carry them up to the room. And then the timing was perfect. We got there like 2 minutes before the fireworks started, and we were just eating the Chef Mickey desserts from the balcony, watching the fireworks. Perfect night to end Thanksgiving.
That is how you watch fireworks. That's how you wrap things. Other than the Egg Bowl, watching Mississippi State, Ole Miss.
There you go.
Yeah, other than that, that's pretty good wrap for Thanksgiving. Let me ask you this: anybody get engaged while you were at Chef Mickey's?
I've only heard of one couple getting engaged at Chef Mickey's.
If you don't know,
I'll tell you what, though, there was this poor family that had 2 kids that were just passed out, and it was so funny. They must have just been in the parks all day or something or whatever. They were just knocked out in the booth, and the characters would come by, and I just remember seeing Minnie just like sitting down next to them, like while they're just sleeping. Like that would be like the cutest photo, right? Like your kid is just like exhausted on Thanksgiving. They don't even know the character is there taking photos with them. It was pretty.
That'd be a good surprise for them when they see that picture later on.
Exactly.
Like, hey, I got to meet Minnie. I don't remember that.
Yeah, okay, I don't remember that, but
I want to ask you this though, because my wife and I always have this discussion, and it's kind of I think we've probably had this discussion, I'm sure, many times. When you stay at a deluxe hotel, the transportation it's kind of bipolar, right? Because it's really, really good for certain locations, and it's not great. I think you had a car though, because you guys flew into Tampa, right?
We did have we flew to the MCO, but we did have a car. Yeah, because I was worried about like how we were going to get to the Contemporary and all that. So we did have a car, but
okay, so
but we did use some Disney transportation though, so we can talk about that.
Okay, because I was just wondering, like, because you obviously have great transportation options. You can walk, you can take the monorail to the Magic Kingdom, you can go to the TTC to Epcot monorail.
Yep, that's how we went to Epcot, and then that is how we went to Epcot, was through the monorail. Yep.
And is that a big deal to transfer to TTC? I mean, what would you think about that? Because I think a lot of people think it's like direct service, which it's not.
Unfortunately, it's not. But it wasn't that bad. So what I didn't realize, I thought when you got off, so say you're board the Contemporary, right? The next stop is the TTC. If you want to go to Epcot, you have to get off and transfer. But I thought that you had to go like all the way through the switchbacks, leave that section, and then come back up in a new line. There actually is like a path that takes you to the Epcot line. So you don't have to go through like security again or anything like that. So it was pretty convenient for that, which was nice. But the problem is like the Epcot line runs like every 8 to 10 minutes. So then you might, depending on when it left the station, you might have to wait another 10 minutes. So yeah, so it could be lengthy, but me, like, I say that is 100% worth it, because that is one of my favorite rides in all of Walt Disney World. Like, I know you love the Skyliner. That's up there for me too. But the ride from the TTC into Epcot is one of my all-time favorite things. Like when you like go through Future World and all that, and like you see like there's that one shot where you're looking across all of World Showcase, like dead on with American Adventure. Like I just love riding into Epcot from the monorail.
Especially nowadays, because you get the preview of Future World, and with all the changes, every time, especially like the first time you go through of your trip, you're like, wow, like this next time I go through, it's been 7-8 months. I mean, Moana will be so different than what it looked like. I mean, everything.
It's crazy. Yeah. Let's hope, right?
I mean, if it doesn't, it's kind of sad. Mm-hmm. So, okay. So let's talk about real quick, because you mentioned this, and I want to make sure, speaking of Epcot, you did Guardians of the Galaxy. On the first day, they offered the holiday song, the holiday overlay. Is there anything besides the song, and what'd you think of the song, or was there visuals, or how was that?
Yeah, so there was nothing really different, unless who knows if they changed it now, like after like a week or two since, but I don't think they have, from what I've read. But So like the pre-show was like all the same, which I love that pre-show, by the way. It's one of my favorites. But yeah, so no real change to the storyline at all. It's exactly the same. It's just a different song. And I like the song. So I stayed spoil free. Like I think our boarding pass was like for noon. So I was like, I'm not gonna get on Twitter and read anything about it until like we do it. Because it was like that first day, like you said. And I enjoyed it. I thought it was a cute little song. It's like Run Rocket Run. It's like that, like Run Rudolph Run that Chuck Berry has a famous version of it. You know, there's so many versions of it, but I thought it was cute. They did change like some of the audio, like the dialogue that goes between like some of the characters like on the ride, but I thought it was really great. And then I went on social media and saw like it was kind of relatively like bashing on it, like maybe like 50-50 or, you know, 45-55, like people were on the fence, but I liked it. My only problem is like, you know what it's going to be every time. Like that element of surprise is gone, which is what I like about how it normally is, right? Like, you know what the 6 songs are, but you don't know which one it's going to be. So like you're sitting in there queued up, ready to go, and you don't know what it is going to be. But when you do the Christmas one, you know exactly what you're getting.
Right. But I mean, yeah, I get it. I mean, yeah, I mean, again, social media people need something to complain about, you know. This
Exactly. But no, I think it's cute. I think it's fun. Yeah, it's, and I mean the ride is great, right? I know like you can't do it a whole bunch of times, or maybe I don't know if you'll do it on marathon with me. Like that'd be awesome if you want to do it with me. But
I might. I know
Okay.
Mallory asked me. She's like, "We go this summer. Are you going to ride Guardians with me?" I'm like, "I'll do it once."
Do it for your boy Scotty G. Come on. But I mean, because the ride is awesome. Like it's one of the coolest coasters ever, and I like the Christmas element. I like the song. I do wish though, like we could have just gone like 80s Christmas music. Like that would have been so perfect. Like I don't know if there was like a issue with like licensing or like getting the songs for whatever reason, but
come on. They got licensed for all these others. You know why? And you know that Whamageddon thing that goes on social media, dude. That's what they should have done. They should have just done
yeah.
What's the way?
Last Christmas.
Yeah, dude, they should have just wiped out everybody got on board.
There's a one great song by like the Waitresses. That's a great 80s Christmas, like Christmas. The rapping song that would have been perfect too. Like there's so many great 80s Christmas songs that could have been on there.
Yeah, totally. That'd be perfect.
Or even like Santa Claus is Coming to Town by the Jackson 5. Like would have been a great one. Like
why are we not in charge of stuff? Like
I don't know, man.
Why are we not in an office in like Buena Vista? Come on.
I think we should be.
I think we really do. Too, right? We just named 3 songs that would just be killer. I mean,
and social media would just be blowing up with like thumbs up, like, oh, this is the greatest. They made Guardians even better for Christmas time.
Guardians of the Galaxy just took me out of Whamageddon. I made it all the way to December 12th.
Yeah, I did not get very far. Speaking of Whamageddon, so I love that song. Like I like Wham. Okay,
I do too.
I like that Christmas song. I don't want to like torture myself and not listen to it for a whole Christmas season. Like, are you crazy? But if I was playing the game,
yeah, so I try too. But I mean, I don't understand it either because I listen to Christmas radio on satellite, dude. You don't stand a chance.
Yeah, but I went to like this Christmas holiday party like last Friday. Like it was December 2nd, and boom, like the DJ played it. So like I was already out.
I was cruising down the highway going to meet Pam for dinner, and I mean it was barely December. And bam, that thing came on. I was like, but I told Pam, I'm like, I have no chance at this contest because I always have it on like Holly. And I'm like, it's in the rotation like once an hour. Like you just, it's like walking through a minefield. There's no way. I mean, like if you want to win, you got to listen to, you know, like you can't listen to Christmas music. It's, I don't know what the rules are.
Or you listen to like isn't Holly? I can't remember. Like it's channel like 71 on XM. It's like the 40, the 40s, the 40s Christmas music. Then you'll be safe.
Yeah, I do listen to
which
that.
I love that stuff too, though.
Yeah, so I listen to holiday traditions when it's just me. But when the girls are in the car, I go over to Holly because they like the more contemporary. They can't handle, you know, like Gomer Pyle singing "Joy to the World." You know, like
I like that
when that stuff comes on, they like, oh my, what are you listening to? Are you 90?
I know you got a good rotation where you can go 105, 104, 71, and 14 is new, like Jolly Christmas or whatever this year.
I know I do them all when it's me, but when when it's like Perry Como or something, they're like, are you 97 years old? Like, what are you listening to? I'm like, this is what Christmas is about.
I'm a happy 97-year-old man when I'm listening to Perry Como Christmas music. I'm just saying.
I'm like,
but anyway, back to Disney. So
we go to
So I did want to talk about. Remember I mentioned like we did rope drop one day, and it was at Animal Kingdom because we go to Animal Kingdom, Mike. I know you don't go to Animal Kingdom every trip, but
No, I go because I go with you.
That's true. But yeah, so we rope dropped it, and it was funny because they do like the 30-minute. Every park has like the 30 minutes early or whatever, and they open at 8. So we had to be there. 7:30 is when they open for resort guests. So like we had to get there early, and I was impressed that my family did this. I was just like, what, we should just beat the rush one day, like just try it, and then we can just like chill at the pool the rest of the day. So we get there by like 7 o'clock. It's still kind of dark out,
Yeah.
And we do the Animal Kingdom, and like we were like, well, where do we go? Like we didn't even like have a plan. And Emily was like, well, we can go do Everest like 3 times in a row, probably. Like everyone's probably going to like Flight of Passage, and we can go to Everest instead. But I said, well, maybe we should go to Flight of Passage because we haven't done that in like several years. Because like I don't like to wait forever for it. I'm like, let's just do it. And my goodness, Mike, everyone goes to Flight of Passage.
Like
it was
you guys like, well, hey, they're going to Flight of Passage. That must be the way to go. Let's go. Follow them.
Yeah. And I'll tell you, my family was like looking at me like they weren't saying anything, but the look, the look from the family. You have the daughter and the wife.
Really? Yes.
They were giving me the look like, you messed up, Scott. Like, look at this line. And like I did freak out, like, oh my God, this is probably gonna take like an hour and a half. Like, this is so far back. But they weren't putting people in the queue yet because the park wasn't open. So once they started putting people in the queue, it actually took like 20 minutes. It wasn't that bad. But I will say, Flight of Passage isn't on your mind and you are doing that rope drop, definitely go somewhere else because that's where the 85% of the people are going, right? So if you want to do Everest a bunch of times or do the safari, highly recommend, zagging when everyone's zigging or however you say that, right? Because most everyone is going to Pandora.
It's a good call. I mean, unless that's like your one thing that you're
unless that's what you want to do, and that's a good time to do it because
the line will be longer later. I mean, 30 minutes is better than 90 later.
This is Saturday. The Saturday after Thanksgiving, parks are packed. I think everyone had a similar strategy to me that they were going to watch football later in the day, so let's go to the park early and knock some of that stuff out. And but it wasn't that bad. It was like 20-minute wait. So
that's what I was wondering. Okay, so just real quick. I mean, we're not going to talk for 2 seconds on this, but there is a lot of college football going on over Thanksgiving weekend, that extended weekend, a lot of big games, rivalry games, Iron Bowl, stuff like that. The game. I mean, did you see a lot of people? Because I mean, now a lot of people have, streaming, they have it on their phones. Or did you see a lot of folks watching football like in the parks and wherever you went?
So for the Michigan Ohio State game, I actually went back to the room to watch it. I mean, I hate both teams from where I live, but it is my conference and it's a fun game to watch.
Yeah, I need to.
But I'll tell you, at Animal Kingdom that morning, I saw so many U of M, OSU shirts all over the place. So I assume people were doing the same thing I was doing an early rope drop and then going back to the resort, or they're going to watch it on their phone. Like, I'll be honest, I was watching the first quarter on my phone. Like, I remember being in a gift shop, like, and the girls were shopping, looking around. I was like, I'm just going to load this up.
That's the thing, though. Is like phones are so big now, and the quality is so good. Like, I mean, it's not bad anymore. I mean, I'd much rather watch it on TV, but it's not horrible.
Yeah, for sure.
Cool.
But yeah, I mean, it is interesting. Like, depending on like your level of fandom, right? Like, you might be missing a big game, like when you travel this time of year, like starting in September through now. You could, if you're down there for a weekend, you might miss a big game. We get that question a lot, like, hey, where can I watch the Super Bowl or where can I watch my team play? And we always give those great answers. And that would have been a weekend for sure where you want to go to Disney Springs, go to, Splitsville or, City Works or whatever and watch the game. But it is kind of interesting. Like, well, I could be in the park and just watch it from my phone if my family's cool with it. Cause then you're kind of like tuning out, it's kind of not really recommended.
But I wouldn't be happy otherwise. So, I mean, just let me watch the game and, at least I'm happy and just, I'll be with you in 3 hours, and hope my team wins. And then I'll be in a good mood. Okay. So back to the trip though. So you went to Animal Kingdom. So we got about 10, 15 minutes left. I don't want to go super long on this, but you're there. I want to ask you one other thing about the Contemporary, because one thing we never talk about the Contemporary, you kind of touched on a second ago, was like the Contemporary it doesn't have exotic pools, but I like the pools at the Contemporary. Like, we've hung out there when you stayed there last time. Yeah. We swam there one of the trips over COVID. You were there and I was hanging out with you guys. I like the amenities of the Contemporary. Like, I don't think most people even know what's on the backside of the tower. To be honest, I'm not kidding. It was years and years before I ever discovered what's on the backside of the Contemporary, like the Bay
Yeah,
Lake.
I love the backside of the Contemporary.
Awesome.
So you got the awesome Mickey pool. I think it's called the Mickey pool. Like it's like your main feature pool. You know, all the excitement, the entertainment cart comes out there. You know, so lots of fun being there, and we love that pool. Don't get me wrong; it has a great slide and it's big and fun. But I'm gonna say it on the podcast. That's fine. You know, give away my secret. That's okay. You know, like just keep it between us. You know,
just nobody tell.
yeah. But there is this pool behind the main Mickey pool that is like, it's just this giant circle.
Swirl.
You know,
It's a swirl pool.
it's a swirl pool. And I tell you, it is magnificent because like no one knows about it.
Yeah,
Every time I've been in that pool, it's just been my group in there. Like I don't understand why it's like a private pool for whatever reason. And you know, it's quiet. It's kind of like their quiet pool in quotes, even though it's right next to the main feature pool. But so you can still hear like some of the noise and the, you know, the cheer. I always call it the cheer, like the kids swimming and like making loud noise. It's just family cheer. But like in that quiet pool, you can still hear it a little, but like it's so quiet, it's so peaceful. And the best part, Mike, is like it's like right on Bay Lake. Like you can like see Bay Lake from that pool, and it's just gorgeous. I mean, it's just an awesome setting, and I love being in that pool.
Yeah, because that's where we swam. We were down there. I think it was like in the heart of, we were down there over COVID, and it was just
it's for the 50th. I think it's for the 50th anniversary.
Yeah, you know, it was so great to just be outside, hanging out with friends, and it was just it was a beautiful day. And I mean, you know, all these other pools, you know, Stormalong Bay and everything, it's beautiful because you have all the, you know, great architecture of the Yacht and the Beach Club. You have Crescent Lake, but just the natural beauty of Bay Lake, right? I mean, it looks like it's almost like an infinity pool where you're almost like eye level with Bay Lake when you're in the pool, in the water itself. It's really, it's underrated because we never ever talk about that. Nobody ever brings it up ever.
Love it. I think Dr. Kai sent us like the original like plan to that, and that was supposed to be like the teenager pool or something. Is what it was fun. Like I'll be a teenager. I don't care. Like
exactly.
But more to that though. So they have a nice bar as well, you know, and then you can order some food like your burgers and sandwiches and stuff like that. And like just great offerings there. There's an awesome like volleyball court because they have like a little beach area too by that pool I was just talking about. So if you want to play some volleyball, like I saw kids playing volleyball. And at night, Mike, you can just set up your spot on that little beach with all those chairs that the volleyball court is, and you can see the water pageant at night. Like, I mean, that is just so cool to do.
The water pageant is underrated. If you are a Disney fan listening to the show today, you got to take time to see it. It is, I mean, it's a callback to 71. I mean, there's very few things you can go back that far, and this is one.
And you can like, I don't think the schedule for the water pageant is like posted like officially anywhere by Disney, but like you can Google it and you can find it like on a blog somewhere. But if memory serves me right, like it ends at the Contemporary, so it's late. So you got to kind of commit to it. Like it's like at 10:15 or 10:20 is when it comes by. Which sometimes on a Disney trip, I'm ready for bed at that time. You know, depending
when it comes by, you're gonna hear it. I mean, it's gone. Yeah, it wakes you up.
But it's so cool. And then I'm sure a lot of people like man, if you haven't gone to the back of the Contemporary, you're like missing out. Even if you're just there for like a meal, like California Grill or Steakhouse Chef 71, Chef Mickey's. Because there's that famous, like, I love that Mickey sculpture, right? Where like you can sit on the ears.
Yes, we found that just by accident. Like Mallory was a little baby. We were so full from Chef. We had breakfast at Chef Mickey's. It was hot. And I'm like, I just can't go to the Magic Kingdom yet. I got to walk for a few minutes. Like, so we just walked out. So I was like, what's out these doors? And we walked out and I saw that sculpture. I'm like, we got our picture in front of it years and years ago. And I said, that is the coolest sculpture. I've never seen that in a picture in my life by anybody. And every Disney fan should do a family photo in front of that sucker. Yeah. It's so cool.
It's so great. Yep. I love it. And another underrated thing I like how we're talking about the backside, like the Bay Lake side of the Contemporary. And Mike, I need to get you out there one of these days, like on a non-run Disney trip, because we do a lot of running as it is on a run Disney trip. But their jogging path is fantastic. It has some weird parts, you know, where you kind of run through like the check-in area on the Bay Lake Tower side, but you run through like the garden wings, like you run across like parallel to Bay Lake. And if you do it in the morning, that's where the sunrise is. So you see the sunrise over Bay Lake. It's so calm. You can sometimes see the ferry boats getting ready for the day, like going over the water bridge. It's so awesome. It's a great loop. And the best part is the signs. And I'm sure you've like seen me like take selfies with like the path signs. It's Mickey, like a jogger Mickey saying like
so
running
cool.
trail this way. It is the coolest sign ever.
They should do those at every resort. I've always thought that. Like, those are so cool. Put those at Pop Century, put those at Art, put those at Riverside. Those are so, but I mean, then
I
again,
hope those never go away. They
I know.
can't go away.
Right. I hope they don't just generically change. Yeah, that would be a crime.
I think I was talking to Russ Reeves about it once, like listener, Russ, and because he loves those too. And I told him, like, I think I'm going to replicate those. I'm going to find a way to make those, and I'm going to put them in my like neighborhood that I live in for like when I run. Like, how cool would that be?
Okay, so we got not much longer, but we haven't even really talked.
Sorry, man. I know I'm going long.
No, but the good news is that, we could talk about this on a Sunday night. We can, like, you're going to be on the show many, many times, so we're good. But I wanted to make sure we talked about, really focused on the Contemporary, because I've never stayed there, so I don't have a frame of reference like you now have. It's fresh in your mind. B, it's weird because that hotel is so big, yet when you look at our catalog, we're over 2,200 episodes at this point. You look at our catalog of shows, and every Monday is a trip report for the most part. We don't have many shows on the Contemporary. When you talk to Disney fans, this is just something, and I don't know if it's true or not. You can, as you're listening today on the treadmill or walking the dog or whatever you're doing, working, see if you're with me. Because that hotel has a lot of people that stay in it. That thing is giant. The main tower is huge. I mean, it's 14 stories, something like that. It's big.
Yeah.
And you got the garden wing. But rarely.
Now, granted, I don't think the rooms start until like the 5th floor, though. Like,
but it's still quite a few.
It's still big. It's still big.
Pretty big. But I rarely hear people say, like, when I ask people, like, hey, I'm going to Walt Disney World, where are you staying? I hardly ever hear a person say, I'm staying at the Contemporary. Like, when I do, my ears perk up, because that's probably the least mentioned resort that I hear of any of the on-site resorts.
Mm-hmm.
I would say even I hear Saratoga Springs more than that. I hear Animal Kingdom Lodge more than that. I hear, Wilderness Lodge. Do you agree with me there?
I agree. Now that you like point that out, like, I do hear that. And when I think about like, well, I'm trying to compare it to like, well, it's a deluxe, it's on the monorail, like, but I hear people say Polynesian all the time, like
it's the most visible resort too. I mean, it's like the monorail goes. I think people like that aren't even Disney fans know of the Contemporary, yet I hardly ever hear people staying there.
And I wonder if like people have a fear of it, if like they think like it's too noisy, because I had that, right? Because you've been on that Grand Concourse, right? And it gets loud, right? And if you're in your room, like, and you hear all this noise, a monorail is going through it, but you don't know. Like I could have been anywhere in that on Earth, and I never thought like I was in a building where thousands of people were like making noise and having dinner right below me, or monorails were going through it. I will tell you at one point though, I thought I could feel the monorail at night, which I like because it made me feel like I was on a ship, Mike. Like I felt like I was being rocked a little bit. Like I swear I could feel the monorail a little bit, which is awesome.
So what floor were you guys on?
We were on the 10th floor. So we're pretty high up there.
Yeah, I'd want to be as high as,
because I think like concierge is like 12 and 13 or like 11 and 12 or something. So like we were like, I think we're the highest non-concierge floor or something.
So Deanna she's joining us live on Facebook here as we record. And she has a theory on what I just said about how you never hear about people. I mean, you do occasionally hear about people say the Contemporary, but it's not as common as like a Pop Century, obviously, or, Coronado Springs. Obviously that's because of cost probably. But she says, I think it's because the Contemporary Tower is not much different price point than the Grand Floridian. And because at that point, people are just going to skip it and go over to the Grand because it's flagship hotel.
But that's a good point. And like, it doesn't like have like like when you look at it, right? Like Grand Floridian pops more, you feel like, because of the roof color and all the whites, and the Contemporary just looks contemporary, but like I love the way the Contemporary looks. Like a monorail goes through it. Like that is like the coolest thing to me.
I mean, they don't make a Grand Floridian like a piece to put under your tree like for the monorail set, but they do a Contemporary. You can get that. So,
but maybe people are intimidated by it too. Like I don't know, right? Like,
and that is another thing about the Contemporary. Just like in general, is when you're far away, it doesn't look as massive. I mean, when you walk, the first time I walked up to the Contemporary to go to Chef Mickey's, I could not believe how big that building is because
Huge.
when you see it driving by, you don't understand how ginormous that thing is until you are
Mhm.
like walking into it. I'm like, I had no idea that thing was that big. It's
Yeah, and it's fun like when you see it from like Astro, or I love seeing it from like Astro Orbiter because like you know how big it is, and then you're like you can see it like, oh, that doesn't seem too bad, you know. Like you're absolutely right though. When you're on that walking path, like coming back, like and you're like walking like under like the monorail, like oh my god, you just realize like my jaw drops
that
at
thing's
like the
huge.
size of that thing is so huge.
Like that
But
monorail track's way up there where it
yeah,
goes in. Yeah.
but I love it. It is so convenient and like there's just like kind of like the Disneyland hotel in a way out at Disneyland, obviously. It just has like some fun little touches, like when you're on the elevator, and like I'm sure everyone's done this if they've gone to California Grill or whatever, and like you hear like Mickey Mouse saying like fourth floor. Like I don't know, like I just love stuff like that, you know. Like there's all these like great touches, and like the redo of the lobby. I know this happened with the 50th anniversary. There's great
I
artwork
love that.
now.
I love
Yeah,
that redo. It looks so
yeah, and
good.
like especially at Steakhouse 71, there's some great artwork as you're walking up, like of Walt, like with that pointing out like the land that you know the footprint of Walt Disney World and all that. Like it's just so cool. There's a great Mary Blair photo and tribute. Like there's just something about being in there that just feels so Disney. It's original 1971, which like I soaked that stuff up right as a huge Disney fan. I just think like, man, this is like kind of how it all started for Florida, right? Like the contemporary, like this is home. This is like where you need to be.
It
So
is.
that's why I enjoyed my stay more just thinking about that, you know.
Well, good stuff. So we didn't even get into dining, but we can talk about that on some of the live call-in shows, and you know what,
Yeah.
you're going to be on the show. We'll have plenty of time to talk about all that. But man, staying at the Contemporary, you mentioned, I mean, earlier in the show, bucket list item for you. I think it's a bucket list item for all Disney fans. Like it definitely is for me. I just, yeah, it's one of those things. Like I've been like, well, I got to stay at Yacht Club because of Storm Along Bay, or I got to stay, you know, here because of the Skyliner. There was always that other reason. But now, and actually, because you've talked about it on some of the shows, I've had guests at the Magic for Less say, you know what, Scott's kind of convinced me. I got to give, you know, I have to stay in a tower theme park view room
It
because you raved about it. And like,
yeah.
I want to have that experience to wake
Yeah.
up with the Magic Kingdom right outside my window.
Even if you don't do even if you don't do the theme park view room and you do like the Bay Lake side, there's something about being in the main tower itself. Just you wake up in the morning, you leave, and then boom, like you're right there, like in the magic. Like it's just I can't I don't even know if I can explain it how I feel, but like just every morning waking up knowing like I was in like the original like main tower for Walt Disney World at the Contemporary just was the coolest thing. And I didn't want to leave. Like I've in my early years of going to Walt Disney World, like I always had like the struggle, like the blue, I call it like the Disney blues, right? Like you don't want to go home. You've had a great time with the family. Like reality is facing you. Over the years, I've gotten better with that because we go so often. And I know like there's great experiences at home. Walt Disney World's not going away. But Mike, I felt it this trip because like I just enjoyed staying in that room so much. Like we had such a great time. Like yeah, I mean, we didn't talk much about theme parks and dining. We did some of that, but as you mentioned about like the Find My Friends, how you were looking me up, we were
You
at
were
the
always there.
Contemporary a lot.
You were always there. I'm like, I guarantee, like you know, it's pretty accurate. I mean, I could tell you were on you know, the theme park side of the hotel, but I mean, I obviously couldn't tell from Find My Friends if you were like on the bed or on the toilet or on the balcony. I
Yeah,
don't know where you were in that. You know, it's not that close.
I
But
was on the balcony,
I
Mike.
guarantee
I
you,
mean,
that's what I kept telling myself. He's on the balcony, like totally.
yeah,
He's sitting on the balcony looking at the Magic Kingdom, which is what I would be doing because, I mean, why else do you book that room? That's why you're
yeah,
there.
that's why you're there. It was awesome.
Man. Cool. Well, hey, I appreciate you taking the time, and we record this one a little bit early because we have a weekend where we're going to be down there on a Monday and hopefully recovering from 48.6 miles. So yeah, get training, brother.
Good luck to us and everyone else.
Yeah, absolutely. Everybody else is in a lot better shape than we are, I think.
I think so.
I hope, I pray. All right, we're going to get out of here. Let's get on with your Monday. Thanks for hanging out with us. A little bit different show. And of course, we'll be back again on Wednesday with more of your listener questions. So don't forget, our shows are always brought to you by the Magic for Less Travel. The agents are standing by right now to help you plan an amazing Walt Disney World, Disneyland, Disney Cruise Line, or Adventures by Disney trip. Check them out today. They're over at themagicforless.com. Please also use our Amazon affiliate link as you pick up those last-minute Christmas gifts. It's still time to get those things on Amazon, and just click through the link. It really does help support everything we do throughout the year. here on the show. It's beourguestpodcast.com/Amazon. And a sincere thank you to the patrons of the Be Our Guest Podcast. You allow us to put out so many shows every year, and we put out quite a few. And we'd like to give you that bonus show every week as well. It's called Mike in the Midwest. Come over and join us. Patreon.com/Be Our Guest Podcast. Now, if you want to go back and see photos from this trip, Instagram's the place to check it out. Scott's Instagram. Go to Epscott, EPSCOT, and then just scroll through his back photos. You'll see a lot of these great shots. You can even see the Macy's Thanksgiving Day buffet from the Contemporary. It's there. It's pretty awesome. So Epscott, Instagram and Twitter, EPSCOT. I'm at Be Our Guest Mike on Instagram and Twitter. Would love to talk to you this week. And if you have any questions or want to continue the conversation about this trip, join us Sunday night, 7 o'clock Eastern, 6 o'clock Central on Facebook and YouTube. We'd love to talk to you as we take your calls on the BOGP open line. All right, we're going to get out of here and let you get on with your week. Thanks for dropping in. What a great way to start the week. Thanks for being with us. So for Scott, I'm Mike, wishing you a great week. Stay safe, stay healthy, and we'll see you real soon. Thanks for
that was fun. That was a fun episode, man.
That was fun. It could have gone forever. That's why I did.
Dude, I was worried it was going to. I'm so sorry.
I didn't get to dining or anything, but I was like, dude, I got to rein this in. Or I'm supposed to keep going and going.
I know. That's my problem. Like, I mean, I could talk. I could do one of these episodes every single day with you. Like, it's so easy. Like, you and I talking, you know.
2 episodes, 2009. And thanks to Jody and everybody that's with us, Kim.
I loved reading Jody's comment of like that was their dad's bucket list item and her and her brother did it. Like, that's so cool.
That is super cool. Paige just texted me, hey, can you have my Air Force One on the phone? Dude, why are you texting me at 8 o'clock?
I don't know.
Okay, so I'm gonna make my theme park reservations real quick. So
okay.
Let me go in the app. Come on, load.
Do you want me to just text you what I have, or?
Yeah, you could do that.
I can just read them right now. It doesn't matter.
Oh wait, I might be able to see yours. Yeah, just text me yours because I want to edit this show before.
Okay, sounds good.
I'll just do them tonight when I'm sitting there watching TV.
Sounds good.
I'll text you if I have any questions about
All right. Hey, thanks for doing the show, man. This was fun.
No, I appreciate it.
Dude, that was authentic, man. Like, I mean, I'm always authentic on this show, but like, I went into it thinking like, man, that's not going to be that great, and it was awesome. It was so awesome.
I gotta say there. I got to.
I didn't. When you said like, how'd you put this trip together? Though I can say it now because this is on the show, but I didn't want to say like how I got.
No, I wasn't trying to set you up for that. No, because I know, and I'm glad you didn't say that. So
yeah. Mm-hmm.
I just meant like, why'd you decide on Thanksgiving and that kind of stuff. And
no, that was good. I figured that's where you were going.
No, I didn't want you. I was glad you didn't. So I knew. I was there. Remember, do their power washing when I was there.
There were so many. You weren't there for all of them. You weren't there when we got locked out of the.
I was like, dude, what is going on?
You weren't there when we got locked out of the Polynesian at like 1 a.m. No,
I was there for that. I was there though when they were power washing like a mug at the riverside. I know that was great.
That was funny.
What trip?
Yeah, I thought about that too. Like we might, because remember last year we went to we had our pub sub, but we bought some stuff. Like we might want to do that.
Oh, we totally have to get a pub sub.
Yeah, and like remember, like I bought like that peanut butter thing and those bagels. You bought like that jelly or whatever. Like,
can we go to? Yeah, we need to go to Publix so we can load up. Yeah, because that's what I had every morning. I just bought those buns and I bought that goober, and I just spread goober on some.
I remember you loved that stuff.
That stuff is so good. Oh, we totally got.
So we'll need to make a run for sure. Like I liked having the bagel and peanut butter every morning before the race. Like that
Let's do that on Wednesday, and then we'll get a Publix.
Yeah, for sure. We'll have to do it on Wednesday. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
And we'll get some Publix for lunch.
And we got to sign up for that virtual queue thing because we just got that email today. Did you see that?
Yeah, I haven't read it yet. Like, do we sign up for it now or is
no? You just sign up for that day. Like, but like I could sign you up or you could sign me up. It's just like as long as you're in friends and family.
Okay.
You just pick whoever you want to be in there with you.
Gotcha. Okay.
I read it. So yeah, we'll figure that out. Yeah, but we totally need to go to Publix and get that pub sub. Oh yeah. Now I'm more excited. Love that.
That was so funny. That photo, Elizabeth, poor Elizabeth, like, because like Emily doesn't, like, our daughters don't come on this trip, but Elizabeth does. She just like hangs out with like us. she's a good sport.
Man. All right, I'll see you. I'm gonna
all right, see you.
I'll see you. Bye.
All right, bye everyone.
See ya.